All right, court is calling 2024 CR 5691 and 2024 CR 008984, State versus Eric Lee Cooper Jr. Can I have parties announced for the record? State,
Andrew Fair, 7.
defense,
Robert Porter for Mr. Cooper.
and are you Mr. Cooper?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you hear that? You know, I just read an article where a child kept telling his parents that there were monsters in the wall, and it was a bee's nest. I don't know if you call it a bee's nest or not.
A hive.
A beehive, thank you. So it was a major beehive, and it was a 2-story house from attic all the way down behind the wall. So I hope that's not what's happening here. And the cause number ending in 91, you're charged with the unauthorized use of a vehicle. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. If I grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication will revoke, the court could revoke you and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. And the cause number in 84, you're charged with burglary of a habitation. That's a 2nd-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. If the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication and give you deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Do you understand? If you have a plea with the state, court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Oh, I'm sorry, Judge. He was so quiet.
Oh, okay. Now I got to the part. The court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty in the cause number ending in 84. As you've applied for deferred adjudication, the court will defer finding of guilt. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
That is up to the court.
All right. State, does he have criminal history?
There's some juvenile history, but nothing as an adult.
All right. And so what is the juvenile criminal history? I do have a legal question concerning the unauthorized use of a vehicle.
Okay.
And we are filled with defense attorneys in here, so I'm sure all of the legal minds, we can go off the record, all of the legal minds can get together. So you have somebody who's, yes.
Apologize for interrupting.
Sure, no problem. Just one moment. Question. If somebody steals a vehicle, unauthorized use, and then somebody comes along and steal that vehicle from the person who stole it, and you know how they say it's who has the greater right to the vehicle? I'm just letting that sit there.
Well, it sat there with me for quite a while.
Because the person who first stole the vehicle doesn't have a greater right than the second thief.
Which is why we're not being charged with theft of the vehicle.
Yes.
It's an authorized use.
Unauthorized use from the person who stole it?
No, from the original.
But then the question becomes, just one moment.
We're trying to return it back to the lawful owner?
I don't know. See, I tell you, this reminds me of law school. It brought me back to my law school days. All right, but in the police report, it says that he knew that it was stolen when he stole it from a person who had previously stolen it. All right, so we're back on the record. State, he's applying for deferred adjudication. You are silent on his application, is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right, how old are you?
24.
24? What are you planning on doing with your life other than foolishness?
Change it around.
I'm sorry, what?
Trying to change it around. I heard somebody that came in here did 22 years.
No,
Kept
what?
mentioning it to me, so I was like, nah, I'm not trying to do this no more. I got 4 kids.
You have 4 children.
Yes, ma'am.
What are their ages?
5, 2, 2, and 3.
5, 2, 2, and 3. And are the 2-year-olds twins? Are they really?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And how many mothers?
3.
3 mothers. So you're just being fruitful and multiplying with no care for your children.
I don't care about this.
No, because why are you doing an unauthorized use and a burglary of a habitation? In the burglary of a habitation, these people were getting ready to go to Africa, and you're in their home and you're not supposed to be. How far did you go? I'm sorry, guys. If you all could just ask the deputy to move you down that way. How far did you go in school?
12th grade.
All right, you didn't graduate?
Didn't
Why,
graduate.
why not? And stop mumbling,
I
open.
got kicked out of school.
Why?
Fighting.
Oh, I don't think they just kick you out and then didn't have a place for you to go. Didn't they have you go to alternative school?
They did.
All right, so why didn't you go?
I went to Estrada at that time,
Mhm.
but I don't know if I was able to go to the graduation or not. So,
Well, did you have all of your credits?
yes, ma'am.
And where are your parents?
My dad's over the road. My mom.
Your dad is what?
My dad's over the road. He drives trucks.
Okay.
And my mom, I know what my mom be doing.
Well, I mean, have you had contact with your mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Was Child Protective Services ever involved in your life?
No, ma'am. I barely met my mom when I was 15.
So who raised you?
My dad,
All right, and what about your grandmother or grandparents?
my grandparents, they passed away. I didn't get to meet them.
Okay. Do you have any siblings?
I do.
How many?
Like 10.
10? And were you raised with them or no?
No,
Have you ever been employed?
yes, ma'am.
Doing what?
I worked on cars, worked at Tires to You, Jack in the Box.
He was working at Jack in the Box when he got arrested.
Okay. And I see you were in a car accident. That's why you have the staples. When did that happen?
3 years ago. That's when I lost one of my siblings.
Okay. And so when are they going to remove the staples?
They don't. I was supposed to, but going back that way, I had to get on the same highway that we had to wreck on.
All right. So you're telling me you're never going to get those staples removed?
Oh, well,
All right. I mean, they've been there for 3 years.
I had 8.
I hope you're not taking them out yourself. And that's a yes. You shouldn't be removing staples yourself. So this accident you had on the freeway, were you driving? Somebody else driving?
Somebody else was driving.
All right. And was there a civil suit to that or no?
That's right.
No, ma'am.
So have you ever received any therapy over that?
Yes, ma'am.
When?
Last year,
Okay. Any drug issues with you?
no, ma'am.
And these people you were hanging out with, who are they to you?
I know around
I'm sorry, what?
some people I used to call friends.
All right, so here's the thing. You have children that you need to take care of. And if you continue the way you're continuing, you may not be around because people don't like people when they're in their homes and they're not supposed to be. And I note that in the burglary of the habitation, it's an apartment and doors appeared to be left open or something. So there wasn't a kicking in of doors. All right, state anything to add.
State silent, Your Honor.
No, I mean with regards to conditions or probation. All right, state, you may be excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, and cause number 5691. Court will sentence you to 5 years deferred adjudication. I'm going to order parenting classes. Once he completes the parenting classes, 100 hours of community service will be waived. You're either going to obtain your GED or complete some sort of trade school. And probation, is there some kind of therapy for him that can be done?
Judge, I think there's a agreement counseling. That-
All right, so we'll do grief counseling. All right, we can go off the record. In this court, in order to be successful, communication is key. If there's an issue, let probation know. If you feel as though they're not addressing it, you can always come back to the court. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And stop doing these type of things, because if you do, you could potentially end up either dead or going to prison. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Court is calling 2023 CR 0939, State of Texas versus Michael Grant Douglas. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state
Jason Garrett, Your Honor.
defense?
Joseph Lassen, good afternoon, good morning still.
Are you Mr. Douglas?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, did you understand you're charged with the offense of felon in possession of a firearm as a third-degree felony?
Yes, ma'am.
Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I do.
With sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, this was an unfortunate incident in which he was being followed by his wife in his wife's car, and the firearm was in a bag in the trunk, unaware from my client. That's the reason why he is pleading guilty today, so that he can put this past him and move forward. He's working and he's learned a lot since this incident that is.
Wait a minute, you're saying that he was being followed by his wife?
His wife was in a separate car. It's in the report, Your Honor.
Okay.
She was following him, and he was driving, and then he got stopped by the police for running a red light. And he's working, and he is really learned from his first incident.
All right, he didn't learn from his prison time because we're here.
Yes, Your Honor.
And it
that's
seems like everything with him happens in January. Maybe you should spend the entire month of January inside your house.
No, ma'am. I was going through it with my wife. The bag is actually the guy she was seeing.
Well, I mean, it says he threw it out the car.
No,
I mean, they're drug paraphernalia. That's what
Oh,
it
yes.
says, was thrown out
the
of the
drug
car.
paraphernalia, the firearm was in the trunk of the car.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to my client, he didn't know that it was in the trunk of the car. It was his wife's car.
Oh. So you want a jury trial?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So if you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
Positive for marijuana. That's it.
All right. Why are you using drugs?
I cut trees down and it just relaxes me after a day of work. It's
When's
more
the-
medicinal than social. I'm not out smoking weed with everybody.
When's the last time you used?
Last night,
Okay. Why would you use marijuana when you know you're coming to court the next day? That's not somebody who's made changes, counsel.
I understand.
You're going to have to start making better decisions. Otherwise, you're going to prison.
I understand that completely.
All right. And how much time did you do last time you went to prison?
I did 10.
Was that a fun time?
No, I'm not trying to go back ever. The gun, it didn't belong to me. It was her. The guy
What?
she was seeing, and I was trying to get my car back. The car that she owns. We're married.
What do you want a jury trial? Again, that's what I asked you. All right. So are you still with your wife?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor, they've worked out a lot of their issues, and they have reconciled.
I moved to another state. We went through a lot.
What state
North Carolina,
and which county?
Robinson.
All right. Here's the thing about relationships. This is me giving you some advice. If you decided to forgive someone for their indiscretions, you can't bring it up during arguments.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you all have not worked through that, it's just sitting in the corner waiting to come out whenever it comes out.
Now we're in counseling and everything. We legitimately trying to move past it. We have moved past it. It's just this hold up on this case that I have in front of me.
All right. Do you all have any children?
I have a child that doesn't belong to me. That's hers.
All right. How old is the child?
13.
And that's the only child you have?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What is your employment? What do you do?
I cut down trees. I'm an arborist. I do some contract work for Cleanscapes right now. I'm working for Andy's Landscape, but I also do work for MTX. I have a pretty good name in the landscaping field out there in San Antonio.
So what's the problem with magnolia trees when they're just like not blooming?
Magnolia trees that won't bloom.
Yeah.
Probably need to put a little coffee in there, get a little fertilizer. They could be sick.
All right. And if they're sick, what are they usually?
I stop by the park and I cut them down.
Oh,
Tear
so you
them
go
up,
out and
yeah.
you kill trees.
Yes. I can identify a few, areas, but
Okay.
knock them down.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. So you actually live in North Carolina right now?
No, I'm a Texas resident.
Okay. Well, what are you saying you all are in North Carolina now?
We went through a whole separation, me and my wife did, through this whole ordeal. I left Texas. We went through counseling. I come back.
Oh, so now you're back in Texas.
Yes, I'm a resident of Texas. It was just a temporarily.
All right. The court will sentence you to 6 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 5 years. Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
Some freedom.
Okay. All right, we can go off the record. You're gonna have to do better. Good luck to you. I hope your relationship works out.
It will.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe step back, Your Honor.
Yes. Are you the same Michael Grant Douglas Jr. who's placed on community supervision and cause number 2023 CR 0939 for the offense of felon in possession of a firearm on April 24, 2023 for a term of 5 years? Is that you? State.
The supplement, form, Your Honor, on violating condition number 4 in Bear County, Texas, the defendant Michael Grant Douglas Jr. Defendant there failed to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of December 2023, January, February, March, April, May, June, July of 2024. Violation of condition number 3.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Violating condition, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objections, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 4, the court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you to 6 years in prison and up to a $500 fine? Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 4? Court will find violation of condition number 4 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
There is, Your Honor.
Yes.
It has to revoke the individual officer's probation, reformed the underlying sentence of 6 years to 3 years, Texas Department of Corrections.
All right, is that the proposed agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes, ma'am.
Probation?
Yes, sir.
Are you in agreement with revocation?
Yes, sir.
And has he done anything since he's been on probation?
Judge, we did experience classes. We did provide employment, DNA sample, and we made payments in the amount of $1,164.
All right, so what was outstanding for him on his probation?
Oh, and I'm sorry, I believe because he completed his parenting classes, you waived his community service hours, which were 150. Judge, there weren't any classes that were still outstanding. The total balance on the account is $2,803.
All right, do you want to raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Michael Grant Douglas Jr.
All right, what happened? Why were you not doing well on probation? Why were you not reporting?
My past came to get me, I had a assault case that my probation officer told me about. And I just thought that if I kept reporting, she was gonna lock me up. So I stopped reporting. And then when I got my lawyer, I spoke to Juan. He said, because it was prior to my probation, that I really just messed myself up. I have no reason why I couldn't comply except for that. It just was a bad decision that I made.
Yeah. You know, I don't know why people think they can run for their problems if you address your problems head on. All you have to do is pick up the phone. I tell everybody who comes in here, if there's an issue with probation and you're talking to them and you feel like they're not addressing it, you can always come in here. And if you would have called an attorney, they would have told you when you're placed on probation, whatever happened before doesn't necessarily mean that a motion to revoke is going to be filed. Any objection to the court reviewing the court summary?
No, Your Honor.
All right,
And
so,
Judge
yes.
Michael's credit, even though he was not reporting throughout all this time, he's making his payments that were due online.
Okay. All right, this court is going to do. Court will find violation of condition number 4 true, revoke, sentence you to 2 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because it's plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, we can go off the record. Well, other than not reporting and running from your problems, you did very well on probation. I hope you've learned you can't run from problems. They're still going to be there when you stop running. All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused.
Yes.
Thank you.